James and I watch as Miller waits in the lunch line, his movements slow and lethargic. He hasn't been the same since I told him about Lacey, and I hate myself for it. I should have let James break the news. At the start of lunch, James and Miller decide that after classes we'll go to Sumter High, the school for returners, and wait for Lacey to walk out. There's no way Miller would get more than a few words in at the wellness center, not when handlers will be guarding Lacey for 3 more weeks. Miller is hoping that, in the parking lot of Sumter, with the proper diversion, he can get Lacey alone long enough to remind her of who he is. He thinks he can get her back. James is next to me with his head on his folded arms as they rest on the lunch table. He's trying to look casual, but his eyes are trained on Miller. At Sumter, you and I are going to create a distraction, James says in my direction. And if it doesn't work? His mouth turns up, his eyes flicking from the line to mine. I can be distracting, don't you think? James, I miss her too, but I don't want anything to... He reaches out his hand to clasp mine. I know the risks, Sloan, but what if she's in there somehow? Miller has to try. I would do it for you. And I would for you, I answer automatically. But James's face clouds over. Don't say that, he snaps. Don't even think it. He lets go of my hand. I'll kill myself before they take me into the program. Tears burn my eyes because I know it's not an idle threat. It's a real possibility. James doesn't try to console me this time. There's no point. He can't promise me he won't kill himself. No one can. 6 weeks ago, after they took Lacey, I had to fight hard to keep from slipping into the depression that seems to be always waiting. The depression that tells me I'll never make it, that it'd be easier to just let go. James convinced me and Miller that Lacey was gone forever, and if she was dead, and told us to mourn privately. But now she's back, and I'm not sure how to feel anymore. James doesn't speak again until Miller drops down in the seat, the food on his tray jumping as he does. The room around us buzzes, but it's quieter than usual. Word of Kendra's transfer has put everyone on edge. I notice the dark-haired handler standing by the exit door, not trying to disguise how he's watching me. I lower my eyes to my half-eaten hamburger. Kendra called to me as she was being dragged out. She made him notice me. I can't tell James. Just then, James rests his chin on my shoulder as his fingers touch mine. I'm sorry, he murmurs. I'm a dick and I'm sorry. I look sideways at him, his blonde hair curling at the ends near his neck, his blue eyes wide as he stares at me. I don't want anything to happen to you, I say quietly, hoping Miller won't hear me and think of Lacey. James moves to put his arm around my waist, to turn me toward him before pressing his forehead to mine, ignoring the fact that everyone can see us. His breath is warm across my lips. I don't want anything to happen to me either, but I'll keep us safe. I close my eyes, letting the heat of his body compensate for the cold fear in my chest. Promise? It takes him so long to answer that I give up and let the dark thoughts in once again. The idea that James can be ripped from me at any moment, or that I can get sent away to be changed forever. But suddenly James buries his face in my hair as he hugs me to him. I stop worrying about the people around us, or even about Miller. I need to hear it. James knows I need to hear it. So then, to my absolute relief, his mouth is next to my ear and he whispers, I promise.